Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for tuning in. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the top 10 essential items that you should have in your bug out bag. So stay tuned. Now, through the many trial and errors that I have made in my bug out bag journey, I have learned a few things about essential items that need to be in your bag and items that you should not go without. Now, in no way am I telling you what to put in your bag. This is just suggestions of what I've noticed I've needed. I have been homeless in the past, so these were things that I needed in general. So this is something that I feel like would be very beneficial for those of you who are starting your packs and you want to know what are the basics. What are, without buying all of these extra, like tactical gear and all that, what are the basics that should be in a bug out bag? So let's go over those right now. Now, these are in no particular order, just so you know, and some of them we may consider more important than others, but I'll leave that up to you to decide which is more important to you. The first item that I would suggest to have is a way to purify water. That is either through a filter, which I have at the Life Straw right now, and I know there's other items and there's other ways to filter water like the Sawyer Mini, which I'm looking forward to getting, which there's so many different filters out there, but have a way to filter out some water if you needed to. And along those lines, you definitely want to have a way to boil water. So boiling water is the next best way to kill, microorganisms and all of that and make water safer to drink. So you definitely want to have a stainless steel or titanium, some container to be able to boil water in. And I have the Pathfinder canteen, which also comes with a cup. But you can definitely find, cheaper versions of these all over the place, but I went with the Pathfinder because I noticed that with my first metal canteen, after the water was in there for a while, I could really taste the metal in it. And that comes when you have cheap metal. So when you use cheap metal, it's the flavor of it, I don't know what it is, it seeps in the water. So I noticed that about the other canteens that I try to save money with. But the Pathfinder canteen, I have actually left water in there for about a month, and it still tasted fine after I pulled it out of my bag, and tried it, because I do rotate it so often. But it tasted great, so I'm very happy with the Pathfinder canteen. And since it also comes with its own little cup and its own little stove, it's a full cooking system in just one item. So definitely look into that. Another thing that of course you would have to do is start a fire if you want to boil water. So a way to start a fire is something that is essential and should be a part of your kit. Now, you can have either, just a regular lighter, some, water resistant matches, and there's also, of course, the ferro rods. So there's plenty of options besides, making friction fires the caveman way. There are other ways of making fire now. So let's go the easy route and pack at least a few items to start a fire with. I personally carry 3 items minimum to start a fire with, and that's just my personal choice because I believe that 3 is 2, 2 is 1, and 1 is none. You always have to prepare in case one of your items break. You should always have a backup. Now, another thing that I would definitely say you should have is a knife, some sort of cutting tool. Now, I know some people are not, comfortable with knives, or, just a basic knife, to cut things with, to cut through things. That's all you're gonna need. And even if it's just in a multi-tool, some sort of blade to help you out. Now, I would suggest for you to invest in an actual knife and not just the multi-tool, but that is an option. But I would suggest for you to get a better knife, just because if you need, you can use it for security. Now, if somebody came to you and wanted to take the things that you have in your pack, or wanted to take your pack, or for some reason assault you in any way, like, the knife can be a good protection. And I know it's very, personal, and the person has to be close to you. But if you don't have a gun, a knife is the other way that you can keep yourself safe. And unfortunately, sometimes, these are things that we have to consider, even if we're not comfortable with it, and learning how to safely use these items so that we know how to use them when we need them. So even if you're not comfortable with it, definitely look into getting a knife, because it is something that can be used for so many different things, from, preparing food, duh, one of the most important, right? But also, keeping people from trying to take your food. So, I mean, it has a multi-purpose. That's something that you definitely need to consider when you are packing your bug out bag. Can I use this item for more than one thing? And you can cover all your bases that way. Now, when you're working with a blade or some sort of sharp object, there's bound to be accidents. It's just bound to happen. And, the most basic first aid kit would be something good to have in your backpack. It doesn't have to be a big ass trauma kit like I have. My IFAC video. No, you can see my IFAC video, and that is like the most ultimate packed up first aid kit ever. No, I'm sure that there's other first aid kits that are much larger, but I do believe that first aid kit is very thorough. So if you want ideas as to what to put in your first aid kit, you can go ahead and check that out. I'll go ahead and put it in the cards. Now, along with your kits, you definitely want to bring a hygiene kit. Now, a hygiene kit can be anything from just toothbrush, toothpaste, toilet paper, and some wipes, just some way to keep yourself clean. And even if you're not able to take a shower for a couple of days, you can, definitely wipe down in your areas and make sure you stay, clean in the nooks and crannies and things like that. Having some sort of hygiene kit to keep a morale. And keeping yourself clean is going to be one of the most important things in an emergency situation. So, definitely looking into what you're going to need hygienically. And we all need different things. So definitely put something that is good for you in your hygiene kit. The other thing I would suggest that you get is a sleeping bag or some sort of sleeping system, a Vivi, an emergency blanket. I would highly recommend a sleeping bag though, because you don't know, how cold it is. Here in California, guys, we have great weather, but in the Bay Area, sometimes we get like bone chilling weather, and I'm sure this place is not the only place. And our weather can range, so much that you may need something to keep you a little warmer than just a basic, emergency blanket. And although an emergency blanket is great to have, and a sleeping bag is even better. Another item I suggest that you get for your bag is a poncho. Some sort of, way to keep yourself dry. And I would even go as far as suggesting that you get a poncho that's very high quality and also is able to be turned into a tent or, used as a tarp. Some of these ponchos are freaking badass. You can literally just get them with the holes and the grips on the corners, and you can use that as your tarp to, improvise a shelter or, a AKA tent. You can do all sorts of, different things to keep yourself dry with the poncho. So it's a good item to have in general. The other items that I suggest that you take is a map and a compass. Like, these are so essential. And I know all of us have our GPS, we have all of these fancy gadgets, and we have Google that can get us everywhere. But I would highly suggest in just investing in an actual map and learning how to use a compass, not just having one, because trust me, not everybody knows how. So if that's you and you don't know how, definitely go on YouTube, research that. Maybe I'll do a video for you guys later about how to read compasses. So let me know if you guys want me to. But map and a compass, very important, because if you happen to lose your phone, drop it in water, God forbid, or for some reason lose, you know, your phone or your access, your phone's dead, whatever, you lose access to those maps, then you're fucked. And you're not going to have any other way to find your way around. And having a map, you know, that's actual, like an actual physical map, is also good to, you know, just have a better idea as to what's going on around you, even if you are blind electronically. The last thing that I would recommend to make sure you have in your bag is a way to communicate with the world. Now, that could be a cell phone, that can also be a like two-way talk radio if you want to talk to your family, some way to communicate with the world. And or I would just highly suggest for you to get a hand crank radio, some sort of, you know, just something that gets some news, some information coming in as to what is happening. Perhaps, you know, the emergency already ended and you can go home. You might want to know that. And also you may want it so that you can hear alerts about what places not to head to and which places to avoid, because they may be, you know, hazardous or whatever. So all of these items, like I said, are equally as important. I mean, no, you're right. They're probably not. There are some items that I would suggest, like in a hierarchy, would be more important. In the hierarchy, I would say water and fire are most important. And you noticed I didn't talk about food or anything, because, or you know, how much water to carry, because we were just talking about items and tools that we may want in the bag. So that is besides the point. You do want water and food, definitely, but a way to purify your water and a way to boil your water, and a way to start the fire to boil that water. Those are three very essential things that you should have in your bag. And at the bare minimum, you know, have a way to stay warm yourself, and a first aid kit, and a map and a compass, and a partridge and a pear tree. So these are the items that I feel are most important to have in your bag, besides, of course, all of the other items that we love as preppers. But I felt that this was more catered to the people who are starting out a basic kit, and you want to start with the basics, and that's where you should start, and then work your way up from there. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope that you got something from this video or enjoyed it. And if you did, give it a thumbs up, and definitely share with your friends so that they can start getting their backpacks together. Maybe you guys can support each other in doing it together. All right, guys, thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.